So I'm just finished shoveling the driveway, or shoveling the walkway, and it's a little too cold out there to do any exterior shots, so I'm just gonna do this. So I got new stickers. Now I got this not because I think I'm gonna roll back, but you know how people they ride your butt, and a lot of people don't expect the little pause between first and second, and then they almost rear end you. So so far I'm pretty impressed that people have been actually reading this and keeping their distance. Some people are completely oblivious, and well, that's that. Now, looking in my trunk, I'm absolutely loving this subwoofer. It's a Serwin Vega, and it's a 10-inch powered, and it was chosen because, as you can see, it's mounted to the back of my seat, so I still have all my cargo room for groceries and such. That's held up well, and I've got that as well. Backs, I mean, everything. There's nothing really to tell about this car. Like, the seats are still in really good shape. I mean, they're dirty because I use this car. The plastics, even though nobody really sits back here, I'm taking things in and out, so you know the plastics have taken a beating. But otherwise, I'm gonna put this on wide angle so you can see what's what. It's held up well. My WeatherTech mats have done their job. The carpet underneath there is probably still pretty good, but I'll find out in the spring when I do the spring clean. My head unit, Sony head unit, still working great. Although 4 years old now, I know it's got wired Android Auto and it's a little flaky. My Amazon shift knob, the thread's starting to come off, but I mean, it's a wear point, so I might get another one, maybe with some red stitching to match the red accent on the seats. Nothing really to tell here. There's nothing to go wrong. The climate control still works really well. I keep it on auto, especially in the winter, because I need to regulate the humidity so I don't fog up. Anyway, I'm going to boot up my laptop and change the camera aspect around, and we'll do some questions and answers. Like my toque head? Yeah, like I said, I just came in from shoveling the walkway. So I had my toque on, I had my parka on, I had my mitts on, and it was cold outside, but the sun was, kept me warm. But now I'm sitting in the garage. If you're wondering what's going on over there, that's my wife's car. We've got a 2024 Buick Encore GX Avenir trim, and she got it wrapped pink. The car we had before was a 14-year-old Kia, and she wanted a color change, but it wasn't worth the money. So I convinced her to save her money and wait for a new car, and well, new to us anyway. We got that at a really good deal. It was hard to pass up. So on to the questions, and well, what I did here is I compiled the comments from the last video that I did, and I just put them here, and I'll address each one of them. First one, Roy NK4VQ writes, I got a 2024 LE hatchback about a week and a half ago. Great little car. Thanks for your comment. I agree. It is a great little car. Song YUNMA207 writes, thank you so much for your videos, Omer. I bought ES Mirage back in January, and I must say that your content helped me tremendously in making the decision from buying it. Thank you so much for your comment, and I'm really happy that my comments help. My wife asked me, why I keep doing this, and it's for reasons like that. I'm not doing it to make money. I'm not doing it to get the gold plaque. I mean, I don't even know how many views I get for each one. Some of them, I think the two-year video had the most views. I think it's at 15K. But I think that's why I do this, because we as a car culture are brainwashed into thinking that the only options are Honda or Toyota. And that's just not the case. If you want something that isn't the norm, something that might be, a lot of people feel that the Mirage is better than anything that Toyota or Honda can offer. It's certainly more cost effective. And the fact that these designs are so simple, there's nothing really to go wrong with them over the long term. So they just keep going and going and going and going. Ken Soda writes, I always look forward to updates on your Mirage, even though a 2020 Chevy Spark manual with 6K miles so far. I think he says even though I bought. Case in point, I cross-shopped this car with a Chevy Spark. And I had rented both this Mirage and the Chevy Spark whenever my last car, which was a 2005 Mini Cooper convertible, whenever it was in the shop, it would always be in the shop for 2 or 3 days at a time. So I went down to my local Enterprise Rent-A-Car. They had both Mirage and Spark on their lot. And every single time my Cooper was in the shop, I would choose one or the other because it was on my short list of cars to buy. I found the Mirage was slightly more comfortable to drive and more economical to drive than the Spark. The other deciding factor was, despite the fact that the Spark was roughly the same price, maybe a little bit more expensive, there was a 7-month wait at the time. Because remember, I bought this during COVID. So 7-month wait for a Spark versus the Mirage that just happened to be available right then and then at the dealer that I visited. It was a no-brainer for me. Codeman Gaming writes, another 5-speed. Yes. Save the manuals. Hashtag save the manuals. DSV Mirror writes, great review. Driving my 2014 ES manual Mirage for over 11 years now. Still the cheapest way to get around. 100% agree. In 11 years and lots of life left in that car, man. Or lady. Ruby Red 8845 writes, the best mileage I have had in my 2021 CVT Mirage was 4.1 liters per 100 kilometers. The only thing I have replaced on it was the interior light bulb for interior light lamp. That's pretty amazing. Like the lowest I've seen, and it was a blip in the radar, was 4.1, and that was after I got every single green light on my trip, and it was just a smooth drive. Every single green light, no stops, no stop and go traffic, and the ambient temperature was perfect. And when I rolled to a stop at the bottom of a hill at a red light, it just read 4.1 for maybe 30 seconds. And then I started off and I lost it. But yeah, when the temperature is ideal, like spring and fall, and you can just putt around, these cars are just amazing. Lincoln Osiris 222 writes, got a 2024 Mirage in blue last month. Or BE in blue, I guess that's a trim level. Was bummed I could not get a stick shift new anymore. Maybe I'll look for a used one in stick. Yeah, that was one of the things with this car. It was a toss-up between sticking with the base model with a 5-speed or going a trim or two up to get some more luxury creature comforts. But the only trim level they offered the stick in was the base. So I thought, all right, at least it has air conditioning. Better yet, it's got climate control. And I get to drive a stick. And now, funny story, I went to the local Mitsubishi Mirage dealer a few months ago to see what my trade-in value would be on, let's say, an RVR, because I kind of like the idea of sitting a bit higher. The quote they gave me for trade-in was almost what I paid for it. So that, when you consider that a 4-year-old car is worth almost what I paid for it, so almost zero depreciation. And the reasoning they gave was that because there's so few sticks around and there's so many people looking for them, they would have a really easy time selling this because there'd be people coming all across Canada or even down in the States looking for a Mirage with a stick. So yeah, if you can find one that's used, as long as it has a documented service history or you get a pre-purchase inspection, I'd say go for it. Miles Christie F6L writes, just got a 2019 ES limited edition last month. I don't get all the hate. Sure, it's not fancy, but it does the job, keeps up with the traffic and merges just fine, and gets killer fuel economy. It's also fun to drive. I wholeheartedly agree with you. I don't get why this car gets so much hate. I think people look at the horsepower and they think they can't possibly use that much in regular everyday life. The reality is, even if you have a 300 horsepower monster, if you're going to get your groceries and back, or you're dropping your kids to school, or you're going to work and back in stop-and-go traffic, even if you're cruising on the highway at the posted speed limit, you're not using all that power. You're lucky if you use a quarter of that power at any given point in time. The only thing that, I think the only reason those vehicles need that much power is they're so freaking heavy. You need more than what you're going to be using just to get it going. And that's where this thing is just awesome. Because it's so light, you don't need a lot of power to get it going. Wizard of Drones writes, wow, well-timed video. I was actually looking at this car just now and looking for a video exactly like this. Thanks for taking your time to do this. I really appreciate it. And you're welcome to refer to my wife's comment why I do these. I think having owner reviews is really valuable when you're looking for a vehicle. There's so many professional reviews that are they're skewed. Not skewed. They're biased towards vehicles that have more power and more luxury. And I think this idea that we need more is wrong. I think less is more. The less a vehicle has in it, the less there is to go wrong, and the more reliable it'll be in the long term. Piney Trees 6811 writes, I heard from a person who owns a 2021 Mitsubishi Mirage hatchback that him and his wife drove the car from North Carolina to Virginia on I-95 and had the car up to 80 miles an hour, and then from Virginia to New York, and was impressed. Yeah, not surprised. This thing will go, and it'll keep up. It's not going to be happy going that fast, because I've found that anything over 60 miles per hour, the fuel economy drops. The car will still go. There's places around here that have a posted speed limit of 110 kilometers an hour, which is the same as at about 70. And it'll go, and my Ecolite will stay on. But I have noticed that the fuel economy past 60 miles an hour or 100 kilometers an hour, it starts to drop because you're fighting the wind. So the engine is working a little bit harder to fight through that wind, and your fuel economy goes down. If I'm doing the posted speed limit where it's 100 kilometers an hour, when it's not brutally cold like it is now, I can get about 4.8 to 4.9 liters per 100 kilometers. But as soon as I hit that 110 or 70 miles per hour, it drops to 5.4 liters. So, and if I go a little higher, it almost is at 6. So, and again, not a huge difference, but when you're on a long trip, it definitely adds up. Still, 6 liters per 100 kilometers is better than a lot of monsters out there. Certainly better than my wife's car, too, which struggles to get 9 liters. Well, that's another story. Curtis Drums writes, going to buy a Mirage at the end of June. I was choosing between Mirage and Vitz. Decided to stick with the Mirage. The Vitz, I'm trying to think of what market that is. It's definitely overseas. It's probably Europe. Good choice. Excellent choice. I mean, a choice of vehicle really boils down to personal preference. Not everybody likes the Mirage, and you have to drive it to make that decision on your own. You can't rely on the decision of journalists and even other people. Like us owners love it, but you could ask the owner of any car, pull up to the gas pumps and talk to the guy next to you. You know, how do you like your car? 99% of the time, they're going to say, oh, we love it. Well, obviously they like it. They chose it because they liked it, not because of X, Y, and Z. Alex Figaro A7035 writes, I just bought a G4 sedan, and I tell you one thing, it shocks me that on an empty gas tank, it only takes $22 to a refuel and lasts me almost a week. I'm retired, but I still own SUVs and pickup trucks, but this little car has become my favorite. Not a roadster, but it is a daily driver, and it is so simple and cheap to maintain, and I keep hearing from people that actually owns them that they are bulletproof reliable. So far, so good. 100% agree. They are cheap to maintain, they're cheap to run, they're cheap to insure, and there's nothing to go wrong in them. That's why they're so reliable. The 3-cylinder engine has been proven reliable year after year after year for Mitsubishi. And there's a reason why there's so many of these on the road in foreign markets. You know, obviously in the US and Canada, they're disappearing because nobody wants something small. But in markets where something small is preferred, Philippines being a perfect example, they're everywhere and they last forever. Pale Beach Bum writes, I bought a Mirage new in 2014. It was kiwi green. I named it Kermit. I adored that car so much. It was rear-ended and totaled in 2018 at 56,000 miles. I was devastated because I had just paid it off 2 months prior, and it was the first new car I ever paid off. I've been driving an old hand-me-down pickup truck, which I enjoy driving, but it's getting tired and only manages 16 miles per gallon around town, which is 90% of my driving. The Mitsubishi dealership, 15 minutes away from me, still has a handful of new 2024 Mirages. They're all the top SE trim here in the U.S. This trim was so hard to locate on dealership lots a couple of years ago. They're offering $3,000 off MSRP. It's so tempting to buy one. They even have my 3 favorite Mirage colors, white quartz, sapphire blue, and wine red. I miss the reliability, MPGs, and ease of parking it just about anywhere. Go for it. I say go for it while you still can. These are going to disappear, and I might be overestimating this, but I think they're going to become collectible. I think as people like us who really, really like this car are going to just smile whenever we see one on the road, the longer we go. The bigger vehicles become, I think seeing this will be like a breath of fresh air. I might even take mine to a car show in the future if I'm up to it. Oh boy. This username, it's so long I don't even know how to pronounce it. But I'll put it up. I'll put it up on the screen. Took my G4 Mirage to 474,000 miles. Original motor and CVT. Oil changes every 3,750 miles. CVT fluid change every 20,000 miles. Our Mirage has outlasted every Toyota we ever owned. I'm so glad you commented that, and I'm not surprised to hear you say that. Fluid changes, people. That's what makes a car last. Even if it's like beyond the Mirage, any car. Take your manufacturer's recommended service interval and cut it in half. So if the manual says change your oil every 8,000 kilometers, do it every 4. If the manual says change your antifreeze every 8 years, do it every 4 years. That's what I plan on doing. My next oil change, I'll be changing my coolant, even though the coolant interval is 8 years. I can start to, especially when the weather's like this, the heater still gets nice and hot, but it's taking longer, and I don't think it's because of the ambient temperature. I think it's because the coolant strength is starting to weaken. Michael Anders 6161 writes, I like this kind of review. Keep them up. I have rented Mirages twice and was quite impressed. I used to drive its spiritual ancestor, a Geo Metro 3-door hatchback with that 1.2-liter 3-banger, 5-speed stick. This car is basically that with 4 doors, better cargo space and rear legroom, plus modern connectivity. The straightforward engineering is what I love. That and the fuel economy. I will be looking to trade in my own car in another year and have my eye on the second-gen Mirages, 2017 through 2019. Just fond of that second-gen front grille look. And, of course, I want the manual transmission. And you'll find one. You'll find one cheap because nobody wants a stick anymore except a very small handful of people that want to save the manuals. I think you'll be, you'll be real, you already know you're going to be happy, so go for it. Oklahoma Coaster Fan writes, great video. I love hearing from other satisfied Mirage owners. Of course, every Mirage owner is a satisfied owner. I can tell from what you said that your driving habits are very similar to mine. I have a 2024 Mirage ES and have been loving it. It is the perfect car for me. I wanted a simple, basic, reliable car that's similar to cars made 15 plus years ago. None of that new technology. Only the Mirage fit what I wanted. I'm glad I got it while I could. Agreed. I'm glad I got mine when I could. I often look at what I would buy today if this thing needed replacing for whatever reason, and the list is pretty short. It's pretty sad too. Almost a year and a half in, and 16K miles, averaging 48.5 miles per gallon, which is 4.85 liters actual. I keep detailed records. I mostly use my old beater around town. I do some city driving in the Mirage, but have mostly used it on trips. It handles highways just fine, but I have always preferred driving below 70 miles per hour, 110 kilometers per hour. On some stretches, I have had chances to have some fun by trying to hypermile it in low traffic. Perfect conditions, keeping it around 55 miles per hour or 90 kilometers an hour. I've had a couple of tanks that got around 57 miles per gallon, 4.1 liters. Oh boy. I've done the same. If I see nobody behind me, I'll try and do my best to hypermile. It's difficult where I live though, and at the time of days that I drive, there's always traffic. Playtech 4798 writes, I have a 2019 Mirage with a 5-speed manual. Great car and really fun to drive. It's like driving a go-kart to my office every morning. I agree. My wife and I took her car on a weekend getaway over between Christmas and New Year's. And it wasn't very far. It was about an hour and a half out of town. But we took her car. It's comfortable and really, really smooth on the highway. But for something that isn't much bigger than this, I was surprised at how small the turning radius is. And then when we got home and I took my car on an errand, I almost squealed with delight because this thing is just, the turning radius is just tiny in comparison, and it's more compact. Okay, yeah, it's not as comfortable as her Buick, but it's just, I don't know. It's exactly that. It's like a go-kart. It feels like a go-kart by comparison. Oh, what else geez. Front brake rotors cost $22 each, and a set of pads was $25. Did a front brake job, and it cost me less than $100. Yeah, I got to do brakes. The front pads are getting low. My plan is to have the pads and rotors done by my mechanic on the next oil change, but I think I might hold off. I'll have the parts on hand and leave them with them in case I can stretch it to another oil change, because the amount of mileage I'm driving, I'm doing oil and filter every 9 weeks or so. Sometimes 10 weeks if I decide to stretch it. But yeah. GK Auto 1959 writes, only weak point on the Mirage has been that CVT. It's what makes it slow on initial acceleration, and once beat on it enough by flooring it, you will of course have a busted tranny. Best thing for these cars is getting the original CVT factory fill out and putting in AMSOIL CVT fluid. It's a true synthetic and changes everything about how the car now grips the road, accelerates off idle, and shifts smoother as well. All it takes is to drop that trans pan, change the gasket and filter, add in like 7 quarts of the AMSOIL CVT fluid, and see how your Mirage takes to the road now. It wipes out the only thing the factory goofed on and makes the Mirage a true 300k car. I agree 100%. Changing that, whatever fluid they put in at the factory is just good enough to get the job done, and barely. I changed my manual, had my fluid in my manual changed at 50,000 kilometers, and it was night and day. The notchy, clunky feeling of shifts disappeared. It was a lot smoother. The way it interacted with the engine improved, and I also noticed my fuel economy improves. And this is the thing that really, I think a lot of us need to really understand, that what's coming out of the factory is only as good as it's the minimum spec. If every vehicle owner did their fluid changes sooner rather than later, or not at all, and put in some good quality lubricant that was better than what the factory put in, it would make cars last a lot longer and perform a lot better. Motul USTPH writes, keep making videos about your Mitsubishi Mirage, please. I own a 2025 Mirage G4 sedan GLS, but I still love watching Mirage videos. Even the hatchbacks. I really like your summer rims, by the way. I'm looking for the same design here in the Philippines. Drive safe. Oh yeah, when I saw that 2025, I thought, yeah, that can't be, that must be a foreign market. Well, my rims, I'm going to get out of the car now and I'll show you actually I'll put an image of the rims. Were bought by my local tire shop, and they're a company called Dye, which is a Canadian company, and they manufacture, they're a rim manufacturer. They mainly do replicas. I don't think they have any original designs. But the ones that I chose, I don't remember seeing anybody else doing that design. So maybe they're not a replica, but I wanted something specifically for summer, not winter, because I stuck with the stock steel rims for my winter tires. And that's the end of the comments and questions on the, or not questions, but comments on my 3.5 year video. So if you have any comments or questions, drop them in the description or comment below on this one, and I'll take all those and I'll put it in my next video, which will probably happen in the spring after I get the spring decontamination done. That's it. Well, thanks for tuning in, and have yourself a great day, and happy 2026.